Hi. This is Sarita, also known as Bible Study Girl, and I'm just a girl with something to offer the world. And you are listening to the Bible Study Girl podcast. The first voice you heard was the executive producer of the podcast, Bible Study Brother.
What's good, people? It is I, Bible Study Brother, but I'm also known as Icarus Gray over at Gray Area Anime. But this is the most wonderful podcast of your day, and as my sister often likes to say, we are biological brother and sister, not just brothers and sisters in Christ. We come from the same mother, and yes, that's all you need to know.
We have the same mom. She's a hoot and she's a holler.
She is a hoot
And we
and a holler.
probably get some of our ridiculousness from her. So, did you have our scripture for the day, brother?
Of course I do. Our scripture today ties into the blog post, and you guys will get it as we get into that, because we're doing a blog recap today. We're working on some guest stuff, or I'm working on some guest stuff, so just give me some patience. It's going to work out. But anyway, we are going to come from 1 Samuel chapter 3, verse 10, which is, "And the Lord came and stood, calling at the other calling as at other times, Samuel, Samuel. And Samuel said, Speak, for your servant hears."
Amen. I think you did a beautiful job finding the scripture that would tie in with our blog recap today. But before we jump into the blog recap, I was wondering, how's your week been?
Week has been amazing. I'm not fasting. So I have been released from the shackle of King's stomach, as our pastor likes to call it. Well, technically, I've been released back unto King's stomach, technically. But yeah, there's been a lot of revelation, a lot of things that we're working on. As of this episode, Gane has already had her birthday, so happy birthday, baby, if you listen to this episode. Again, just so you can get another little treat for yourself. Yeah, I'm just working on a lot. I'm close to finishing an album I'm working on, one of my friends up here. That's exciting. I just need to go and actually record the things, but I'm almost done with the writing, which is the most difficult part / easy part for me. But that's enough about me. How was your week?
My week has been good, busy per usual. I can say that I'm ecstatic that the snow and the ice have gone far, far away. Speaking of birthdays, today when this episode drops will be Krista's birthday. Happy birthday, Krista. Just happened to see that on my little calendar. So I wanted to say happy birthday to my friend. She probably feels neglected because, like I said, I have been super, super packed and busy. We usually go to lunch or dinner once a month, but it's been a struggle here lately. So happy birthday, friend. I uh just getting back into the swing of things. My workouts are going well. I always feel good when I finish, and I've been pushing myself more lately and not just stopping. What were you gonna say?
So here's some things I just now realized. I know I just shouted out my wife, but now I'm about to put my wife on blast. So we have had some prayers, right? And some promises that we wanted to see fulfilled. We was doing a lot of "you said, God," and that's what our pastor said. Remember to, that he said you need to stay in there, kind of like Elijah calling in the storm. You got to do what you got to do, right? One of our promises that I knew about was for our first child, who he gave to us both in dreams and all that sort of stuff, is Aurora Marie Gray. She's not here yet, and hopefully she's on the way to being created. But anyway, one of the things we wanted to do, which I think we shared with y'all as well, before she got here was we wanted to see her namesake, the Aurora Borealis, or the Northern Lights, for those of you who are not as informed. And the Northern Lights are like
I
it's
don't
like
think that's misinformed. I just think that's like
not
people that are
informed. I said not informed, not misinformed.
oh, okay.
I'm not being rude. Like, chill out. Calm,
Like,
calm, 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 calm.
well,
I know some
just
people.
because
I said for not
just because
informed.
y'all are into it doesn't mean that you're
Um.
no.
So yeah. So that was the promise. Like we wanted to go see it before she was born. Just the thing. So that was one of the things we had talked about, right? The second one that she went. Now I'm not gonna say behind my back, but this was a prayer she had. It was during the era of he who shall not be named, right?
Hmm.
She wanted to be pregnant at the same time as her favorite elder sister.
Me?
Yeah, that would be you. So now I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, so if I'm following what you've asked God for, then like we got two things. One thing I can control. One I can't control that. Gee, I don't even know how to orchestrate these things. So yeah, I was like, wait, what? I was like, we might have been around here. He'd be like, well, I'm trying to answer your prayer, but you haven't gone here, and you know.
How did you get that from what I was talking about? I was talking about working out.
It just hit me. It just hit
It just
me. It just hit me that I needed to bring this to light because I was so myth and baffled the other day. I had to share it with you guys.
and me. So she wants us to be pregnant at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Y'all got to be mama and Aunt Latanja, I guess.
I guess so.
Twice, apparently. Well,
Well,
not
we'll see.
twice, just one time. Like, no, let me stop. Like, I gotta remember my prayer word.
I mean, I get everything you're saying.
Yeah.
So we'll see what the Lord does. We'll see what he does. We'll see what he does. And I don't know why you. Anyway, we'll see what the
I just
Lord
needed
does.
you to know what's going on over here. And you might be blocking a blessing. I just needed you to know because you might, who knows?
Am I blocking the blessing?
No,
So you
she
have
is
to have a- Oh,
100%. But
you feel like she is because she
because
came
she,
up with it.
yes,
Yes, and she's
that's my
praying
fault.
for that mightily. Well, we don't know how the Lord is going to work. Wouldn't it be amazing at the end of 2024 for me and her to be rubbing bellies together? That would be amazing.
Yeah, it would indeed be.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've gone down a tangent long enough, people. If this is your first episode, welcome. This happens frequently. We go
Mm-hmm.
off and then we come back to center. So, although we have placed a big emphasis on us talking to people about their faith walks this year, I mean, we never planned for every episode to be a faith walk episode. We're going to give you some variety, some options. We have some other different episodes that we're going to come out with, but right now we're going back to one of our old faithfuls,
Yeah.
and that is a blog recap. If you head over to biblestudygirl.com, you can find hundreds, dare I say, it's over 1,000 blogs, written about my personal faith journey. And every blog was not written by me. There were definitely some contributors who had lots to say and lots to share with you guys. So when we do our blog recaps, we pick one blog to discuss. If I am the author of the blog, I let you know how I felt at the time that the blog was written, and I get you up to date on how I feel about the blog present day. And Bible Study Brother does a beautiful job of giving us a basic summary of the blog before he lets us know how he personally feels about the blog. I was gonna lie, but I decided not to. We're gonna go back and forth and talk, talk, talk. I do my best. Like one of the things I'm working on in my personal life is not interrupting people when they're talking and trying to wait for them to finish their sentences. So I do try to utilize that in this podcast, but it is not a guarantee that it will happen. So today's blog recap, if you've not read it, I would love for you to head over to biblestudygirl.com there is a magnifying glass in the upper right hand corner. If you click on that and type in the words, "Don't keep silent," today's blog will pop up. And so we are talking about the blog Don't Keep Silent. Brother, you've held me in suspense long enough. What did you, first of all, what's the blog about and what did you think about it?
So simple enough. The blog is about Bible Study Girl's original directive that God gave her uh, to blog, but then he threw in this little line of her to do blog posts every day. It talks about how she came to me, as she often will do in these situations, to ask me a question, probably expecting me to give her an out of some kind. But she comes to a man who God made, an idea maker. And therefore, immediately, I just started coming up with ideas and helpful things that she was technically not asking for, but God was preparing her for. And, it was her waffling because y'all know I used to say I've relinquished said title because she has had conversations with God. She's told me that the blog posts don't have to be every day, but at this time, at this wonderful space in the year of 2019, it was gearing up to be. Because she has a lot to share with the world, as is her lovely phrase. And so, just knowing, at least at that time, she was Samuel. Like, I hear you, Lord. Your servant hears you. Just brings a smile to my face and just makes me think, like, when we do exactly what He tells us to do, no matter how scary or frightening or whatever the case may be, the dividends and the return on doing that is so much greater than what we could ever expect. And it's worth it. We're making a lot of big changes. I'm just gonna go ahead on my prophetic journey. Like she was talking earlier, she said, she was like, we're gonna give you guys some variety. I know that we're going to grow to a point to where the faith walks are like, they might be a 10 episode series because it's going to be 10 heavy hitting people. It's going to be 10 people that we're like, oh my God, I could never believe that I'm talking to you about your faith journey. And
Right.
we'll continue the seasons and, in the way that we do. But the blog posts and like, it's just, I see so much growth for us, but I really do just see, those things. And I know like some of that is pointed to the partnership that we need to have with God in terms of moving forward and everything. But yeah, so that's what I thought of the blog post. Not super duper long today because this one was just straight to the point and a reminder that when you follow God, He has so many doors and so many things He's going to open for you.
So, do you believe in coincidences?
No, not really.
Not ever.
I just believe that God has a funny sense of humor.
Okay. So, like I said earlier, my schedule has been crazy. Your schedule has been jam-packed. We've had to shuffle and move things around. Like we definitely do have a typical day that we record, but life was life in this week. So we had to move, we had to shuffle, things had to change. So if we have recorded on our regularly scheduled day, I don't think this blog would have had as much of an impact on me this week because the day after we typically record, I had an encounter with somebody and she was like, "What's your name?" And I told her Sarita. And she was like, "Well, what's your last name?" And I told her and she was like, "Oh my gosh." Like, she said, "I know you. You do the sermon recaps." She was like, and they are so good. Like, I really love them. And like, blah, blah, blah. Now, mind you, I haven't done a sermon recap consistently in a while. I'm like hit and miss. It's been months since I've done one. And so to for us to be going over a blog post where I'm talking about, I know what I need to do. I know I need to write. I know my mission and my assignment. And then also when I went to church on Wednesday night, um, it was women's night, and our executive pastor was talking about um, the triple A's. The first one was, Lord help me. It was uh, I know the middle one was alignment, and the last one was assignment. Oh, the first one was agreement. So
Okay.
agreement, alignment, and assignment. And the first step was that you have to agree with God, what God said, right? You have to believe what he said and say, yeah, that's it. That is the truth. Then you have to align your actions, not just your word. Yes, I believe this, but do my actions align with what I'm saying that I believe, right? Once
Hmm.
you have those in line, you're ready for your assignment and to perform your assignment and to do your assignment and to make change and to affect change. And so it's crazy to me. It's not a coincidence, but it's crazy to me that in all the busyness of this week and all the things that had to align up for me to really get this blog recap, receive it. This is something that was written in 2019. That was 5 years ago, but it's so present and current and relevant in my life today. And it's such a powerful reminder to me personally that I need to agree with who God says I am. I need to align my actions with what I say I believe about God. And then I need to get on my assignment. So it was really a poignant, powerful, and perfectly timed reminder for me to get busy doing the work of the Lord. And it's easy for me to not write because life has changed so much for me since 2019, since I was writing these blog posts every day. I wrote blog posts every day for like a year and a half. That's a
Hmm.
long time to sit down and be committed. But the thing is, something I wrote 5 years ago is still helping people in 2014. That's powerful. I'm sorry, 2024, not 2014. I'm tired. It's the fours. I got the four at the end
Yep.
of it, right?
The year of my
But that
favorite numbers, except for zero.
but that's powerful, that's personal, and it really convicts me that I need to be about my assignment. I know for sure that I need to do sermon recap every week. I know I do. And that was just a reminder to me that, girl, yes, your Sundays are full. Like you have a lot on your plate, but you need to prioritize the things that are on your plate so that the most important things are taken care of. So yeah, I'm grateful for this podcast.
Hmm.
And I'm grateful that God continues to talk to me and hasn't given up on me because, I can be a bit much at times and a little off track and out of whack. But he continues to lead and guide me in the direction I need to go. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for that. So that's where I am with it present day.
And where did you say you were then, though? Was it, do you remember like just the overall apprehension of it, or was there apprehension?
100%. There was apprehension in 2019. So this blog was written in November of 2019. I was only a couple of months into writing. I didn't know that it would continue for another year and some months, that it would be every day. And so I think if you go back, the reason Bible Study Brother just kind of gives you a brief overview is because I really do want you to go read it for yourself so you can come up with your own. thoughts, ideas. But at the time I had severe apprehension. Lord, what could you be wanting me to say every day? Do you know what kind of trust that takes? In 2019, my life was full then as well. And so that meant I could tell you, I would be frustrated. Like I have so many things I need to get done in this day. But that was a period of every day I have to sit, I have to be still, and I have to listen for God. And it's not necessarily going to be on my timetable. And it's not going to happen quickly. There were some days where I could sit down and I could write, and the words were just coming and flowing, and God was gracious. And let's say we can knock it out in 20 minutes. There were literally other days where I would have to sit there for 2 hours praying, listening to God, and waiting for him to tell me what. There were also days I would sit, I would write. I mean, I would write a whole blog and he would say, that's not it. And so, or I can't tell you how many times I started writing thinking it was going to go one direction. And by the time I finished, it went in a completely different direction. And it was a completely different revelation for me. I can definitely say, though, there was not a time that I sat down, or I have, period, sat down to write that God didn't give me something. And it's something for me. So it's not just me, pouring out and not receiving every time. It's like you get a glimpse into my conversations with God. I do my best to be as transparent as possible without telling everything. I'm not going to tell you everything. There are things that He has just for me that I don't feel like I need to share with the world. But I do want to be as transparent as possible because I do believe in the power of testimony. I think that strengthens our faith as believers when we see other people's testimonies. And even you talking about me and Kanae being pregnant at the same time, I don't know what God has for me. I don't know what He has for her, but I think there's power in sharing the before.
Mm-hmm.
In the what? Because do she even got a man? You know what I'm saying? We know I'm not married, but like what? Um, but I think there's power in that. So definitely at the time that I wrote the blog, I had a lot of apprehension. There were lots of unknowns. I definitely didn't see what was coming down the line. And also I had apprehension because me writing these blogs is very personal. It's a personal thing. I'm telling you about my faith journey. And I am not like, I'm not a public person like that. Like, if you look at my Facebook page, you cannot tell what's going on in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not every time I go outside, I'm taking a picture and showing it to the world. I will take pictures because I love pictures. I document my life through pictures, but it's not something I necessarily want to share with everybody in the entire world. And so there was a tremendous amount of apprehension in 2019 when I was sitting down writing the blog, which is why I spoke about it. And for me, and I've said this on this podcast several times over, and it's really been in my mind lately, like a push. I felt a push and a pull to like, you're supposed to write this book. Why haven't you written this book? You're not even trying to write this book. Like, where is this book? And so to read again, like, girl, where's the book? Like I said, I don't coincidences happen, but there were too many things that happened this week that lined up to remind me of my assignment and to do what I'm called to do. So that's all. That's all I got.
Hey man, that was good. I feel like, getting that little Bible famous, I like that. Little church circuit famous. I like that. a lot, by the way. I meant to mention that
Do you?
point. Like, yeah.
I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of it.
Oh, I know.
You know, I'm not a fan because I was like, um, it makes me uncomfortable. People have always been very nice to me,
Yeah.
when they talk to me, but it makes me uncomfortable because I like to be in the background. Dee, 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 dee. Like, yeah, I didn't want you to see me or know who I am. I'm back here. I'm here. I'm working. Working behind the scenes, getting it done. Um, so yeah, but that is also one thing she talked about. She talks about Wednesday. I don't ever want to diminish who God says I am and the gifts that He's given me, the gifts that He's placed on my life. I know I'm a great writer, and I need, I just need to embrace that, walk in it. That's not being boastful, but I do know that it's the gift He's given me. So, yeah, that's all I got.
Okay. Listen, there's another thing that is dropping into my spirit. Sorry for that, y'all. That old man stretch that just came out of nowhere. But here's the thing. I think this year is going to be one of the best years of the podcast. Not like the best year, but the best year currently that we've had. And I want to say, first and foremost, hello to each and every one of you that are listening to this podcast for the first time. Thank you for taking the time to spend time with us and allow us to be authentic and just be ourselves. Because the crazy thing about the internet, crazy thing about all of this stuff, right? You are basically two different people. And what I mean by that is, by the internet standards, you are either your best day or you're your worst day. And God forbid you are your worst day. Because if you are your worst day, like, it's not gonna stop. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm not gonna say it's not gonna stop because God protects and you have victory over all things. But it's just it's weird to me. So I'm thinking about that in context of like the growth process and things.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to say, like I said, thank you to everybody that's coming. That's like allowing Christian authenticity to be a thing. You know, we've seen like an upswing in like all the different podcasts that people be getting just this butthurt and mad about because people are being like people. They're not presenting something that's fake, that's not authentic. And they're presenting, how to walk in faith, how to walk away from different things, how to be strong in your faith. Amidst like so many different changing and moving goalposts. So I think we're about to have a big year. I'm really excited about it. I just am excited for each and every one of you that is like joining us on this journey and is like able to drop the burdens that you've been carrying and give those back to God, that you've been able to drop any burdens of church hurt because your relationship with God grew. And you are more dependent upon Him. I was looking at this post, and matter of fact, I'll play it for y'all. I'm gonna find the post. So because I think it was, I thought it was like a joke post for a little while, and then the guy just kept going, and it got to a point to where it was like, oh, no. This is a word. And one of those words I think I want to share with people. So here we go.
If you are such a loving God, if you love me so much, then why do you allow me to be in so much pain?
Have you even read my book? It's like you don't even know me, and yet you claim to be my follower while simultaneously praying for a life where you don't need me. It's easy to have peace on calm waters. What I give you is peace through the storm, joy even. You ever stop to think that perhaps I give you pain so that you can understand other people's pain? That I might just let you go through hell so that you can, at the end of it, help people navigate through their own. Why does pain ever have to be for you? Why can't it be for the people watching you? See you go through hell with still a smile on your face, with peace in your heart, knowing that it's better to have pain in me than not me at all. Witnessing to them the same thing that I felt for you on the cross. That's love. Love isn't a feeling. Love is what we do despite how we feel. That despite all this pain that I went through, it was worth it because I chose you. So that by the end of it, that you might feel the same pain and still choose me. Carry your cross. That is love.
If you
Yeah. So it's just one of them things where it's like the authenticity of what we do here, you know, talking about our grief, talking about our best days, our worst days. It means something, and you mean something. You are worth something. Your testimony gives people a connection to God that they may not have had before because they know they're not alone.
And it gives them hope. It gives hope.
Yeah.
So I would love to sit down and talk to any of you guys about your faith journey. You heard us pop off last week with our first installment of Faith Walk, and we want to hear from you. We want to hear from you. So first I go with people that are like volunteering, and then I guess I'll just have to go through the crowd and pull people to the front. Like, let's sit down. I want to talk to you. Let me know about your faith walk. So yeah, I want to talk to you guys. I want to hear about your faith walk.
And we have a couple coming up. So, you know, I'm just excited about those. We got one that y'all just
Let me
heard.
tell you what we have. The people that we're talking to so far this year, I am super pumped and like amazed and excited. They have some awesome testimonies to share. Their lives are, when I say,
Oh yeah.
bliss. Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So I'm excited.
So anyway, all of the things you need to get in contact with us are down in the description. So make sure you use all of those links. So that way, if you want to be a guest, you can hit us up at biblestudygirl2019@gmail.com or use our Facebook, whichever works best for you. So that way we can get in contact with you and get you the sheet about coming onto the show. Well, I hope that you all have been blessed by this episode. And remember, guys, it is not just I or you that preach, but we preach.
And until we meet again, guys, keep preaching.